8:09 on the nose. On the nose, Pete.
Gotcha.
It's the 6th day of November in the year 2018, Anno Domini. This is the Denken's Den.
The views expressed by the host during his monologue are those solely of his own, not those of Westfield State University, the student-run radio club, our underwriters, or Bob shaking his head in the room. And now...
You know what, Pete?
What's going on?
You know what? I heard you, Bob, even though you weren't in front of your mic. We all set the clocks back this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
You know that means something is just around the corner.
Are you sad?
Seasonal affective disorder. Oh, God. With me, it is multifold. I don't get enough sunlight, which is the main cause for SAD in many people.
Mm-hmm.
The body does not get energized. Yeah, I have one of those happy lights on my desk. I don't know if it's doing anything or not. I'm afraid to not use it just in case it is doing something. I would hate to be worse than status quo. Can you imagine what I would be like if I was a miserable curmudgeon?
Wait.
And then there is the temperature. Sure, I wear shorts until the first snowfall. They're comfortable. And once inside, I'm fine. You know, the only solution to this problem is relocating to Vegas when I retire. Probably going to happen. I have been out there in July and August, when you usually don't travel to Vegas. I can handle the 115-degree days. I can't tolerate sub-zero days. Not anymore. It drops to just over freezing out there several times a year. And it does not rain. Well, it does rain. Every few weeks for about half an hour. And oh boy, is it a doozy out there when it rains. Everything floods. Just Google Vegas rainstorm. Or YouTube it. You know, along with the cold temperatures comes the snow and ice. So tired of it. I can't even stand to look at it anymore. It is no way to live. And what happens to our cars? Absolute filth from bonnet to boot. And then you have to contend with the drivers who think they are impervious to the road conditions because they have four-wheel drive. Or the drivers who are terrified to drive when there's a dusting of the white stuff. Sledding, skiing, ice skating, meh. No interest.
Meh.
Meh.
Sitting by the pool at night, I'm down for that. But the big issue I have is how it's now dark when I leave work at 5 p.m. And it is cold and crappy outside. My brain has a built-in trigger, and when it sees darkness, it thinks it's the end of the day. I become mostly unproductive. I can't think. Sun is down, I am out. I've had enough. I have an oven and a KitchenAid. I'll be doing a lot of baking.
Cookies.
Having the oven on will allow me to keep the furnace down, which, by the way, I have tested but refused to turn on yet.
Wow.
Some other benefits of baking is that I will have the satisfaction of making my own treats from scratch. Another benefit of baking will be that I am likely to share my goods with my fellow radio friends so that they can fatten.
Okay, we're down with that.
So that they can fatten up at the same pace that I do.
Oops.
Wow.
Speaking of fattening up, something else comes to mind this time of year, which is therapy eating. And what is the poison? Ice cream. Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead. Think about that one for a minute.
Makes you more cold.
The only good thing to look forward to coming up in a few months from now is what, Kathy?
I don't know, Ken.
The punchki.
Oh, my God. How could I have said I don't know?
It has to be colder than a witch's heart outside in order for those treats to come around. You just can't get them around here in the summer. A moment of silence for summer. You will be missed.
It's okay. That's enough.
I can still go away on holiday in our vast country in order to warm up and soak up some sun, though. Mm-hmm. So far, I have Vegas set up for January and May, and a warm destination to be determined in April. I'm open to donations of mini vacations down south in February or March. Weekends work best for me. I would even consider flying JetBlue. I am that desperate.
Ooh.
Let's pay our bills. We'll be back right after this.
For community radio on WSKB is provided by Betts Plumbing and Heating Supply Company, an independent, family-owned wholesaler serving Westfield for over 50 years. specializing in plumbing, heating, and industrial piping supplies. On the web at betsplumbing.com or at 14 Coleman Avenue in Westfield.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Commercial Distributing Company of Westfield. Now in its third generation of family ownership, Commercial is one of the premier beverage distributors of Western Massachusetts. The Plasek family and the staff of Commercial Distributing wishes you good times throughout the year and urges you to drink responsibly. We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646.
Discussions of local politics, events, happenings, and miscellany potpourri. That's what you'll find on Ken's Den, Tuesdays from 8 till 10.
Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
You just missed it. 8:20 and a quarter.
I wanted to listen to Hall & Oates. I'm sorry. I don't apologize for Hall & Oates.
Oh, no one
You
should
don't have to.
apologize. No.
I could have done a post and made that happen, but
Yeah.
you know, it happened.
No big
It's
deal.
no big deal. And because I kept talking about it, it's now 8:20 and a half
I knew where you were going with that.
here on the 6th day of November in the year
Things are loud.
2018 Anno Domini. This is the den. I can't hear myself. What the heck happened here?
Oh,
We hear you.
Okay, now I can hear myself.
I turn you up and everybody else down. How's
Yeah.
that better, Bob?
This is the den.
oh, now I can hear you.
Ken's den.
Yes.
Ken Stomsky. In front of the
Off to a good
microphone,
start.
as usual. In front of the Radio Millennium board is Peter Coles, Kitten of the Keys. He's the November nerd of Knobs.
Yes.
Chairman Meow.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I did the same thing.
You didn't plug yourself in again. What's wrong with you? You're slacking over there. I just heard it plug in.
I had the cord all set to go. Mm-hmm. Chairman Meow.
Sounds like a fish or cat mating.
Side chick extraordinaire.
Oh,
I be here. I be here.
that's you milking a cow. No, that's the cow being milked by
That's a cow refusing to come in from the field.
There you go. And they do. I went to get one up the other day, and I said, "Come on, get up, get up." And she turned around and looked at me, and I could just hear her saying, I don't
Meh.
think so.
Meh.
Not today. And they
Can you
don't.
ride a cow? Have you ever gotten
I've
on the
never
back?
ridden a cow. No.
Yeah, do
no,
you
thank
ride-
you.
I don't think their back is strong enough to ride.
People do.
I've seen
I
people
don't
ride
know.
cows.
Really?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Yeah,
I really
I'd
don't
ride
know.
one.
All right,
I don't-
moving right along.
I just
now.
don't know what to say.
Would you ride a cow
Bob,
less?
don't say anything.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
Don't say anything.
Okay.
Have you ever ridden a horse?
Yes, once with shorts on, and I'll never do it again. Yeah, I had chafed legs. Honest to God, no one told me that I wasn't supposed to wear
Okay,
long pants.
as I did say, Peter,
Well, I was supposed
moving
to wear-
along now.
TMI.
Yeah,
But
this
yeah,
is-
I
this is
have
going.
ridden. I've ridden horseback.
Yeah.
That's why I'm thinking. If I could do that, I could ride a cow.
I just don't want to
They're-
go there.
but they're-
Sorry. I'll be right back.
Aren't they a lot broader? I mean, cows are really.
I don't know
I've
why
got-
anyone
I've-
came up with the idea, because if you rode a cow, then you'd have sustenance even wherever you were because of the milking. I mean, you could always
Well, keep in mind now.
Well.
What if you're not riding a milky cow?
You can only
Is it-
have the
what?
cow give milk if it's had a calf.
I didn't know this. Wait a minute.
Oh dear God.
No, I didn't know.
shoot me.
I always thought a horse was a pony and a pony was a horse, but that I know. So wait a minute. In order to milk, you have to have a calf.
It has to
You have to
have
be
a
a
calf
mother.
first.
So you have to be a mother
Yes.
before you can be a milker,
Yes.
a milking cow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Is there anything else I have to do? No.
Wait a minute. Are you always the milker after that?
No, they dry the cow off. After it's had a calf, they milk it for X amount of days. I don't know how long. I'd have to ask the farmer that. Keep in mind, I'm just an implant.
So yeah, I'm just. It sounds like because of the process or the requirements involved, in order to have a milk cow, you must have a crap ton of veal hanging around up there.
No, we don't usually keep all the calves. We sell them to other farms. And
so wait a minute, but the cow doesn't always. Can always be a milker as long as you keep milking it. Is that what happens?
No.
The cow.
Listen,
yeah, but
stop
you mean
talking, Bob.
You mean the cow has to have a calf every?
They have to be knocked up in order for that to happen.
Okay,
Holy
Bob.
mother!
It will milk for so long, and then he does what's called dry it off. So you dry the cow off. It stops giving milk because the milk dries up. If you don't milk it, it dries up.
They don't take a towel and wipe down the cow.
That's
It's
right.
like going on the wagon.
I get it.
Okay.
Later on,
They put the cow on the
down the
wagon.
road, they will breed it again. Now, before people get all upset about, you're making this animal happy, think about nature, folks. It's what happens to animals out in nature every single year. And they don't get a choice. So it's really not this evil plan.
They just can't say no. You just said they don't have a choice.
No, I said animals out in nature.
Do you think
Are you still
instead of
talking
saying
about
moo,
cows?
they're
We're
saying
still talking about moo cows.
Didn't you get onto American Horror Story yet?
Yeah,
Not yet.
no. This is a cow saying no.
And you're encouraging that.
No.
I'm amazed.
Moo.
That sounds more like a horse going no.
Nay.
I
That's a
would
horse.
need to get the farmer in to discuss this with you because honestly, it's not my.
Well, it's not
wheelhouse.
often that I get to talk about cows.
Kathy, it's still
Yeah,
better than Big Brother.
I think we've talked about cows enough now.
I agree. I will say this though: Ken is complaining about the cold, and it is cold, and it is drizzly. Boy, they love this weather.
They like what?
They love
It's
this
perfectly
weather.
temperate for them.
They are outside. I honestly trying to get them to come in is just they love it out there. They're laying down. They're comfy. They're happy. Love it.
And you don't have to dry down like when I take Frankie out for a walk, my dog, I have to dry him down with a towel. You don't do that with a.
No.
The cows just
they're
go
fine.
out and they're whatever. Okay,
They're waterproof.
waterproof cows.
They're waterproof cows.
Oh,
Good morning.
I hear the sound of something creeping up. Could that be a cow coming in from the? It's American Horror Story. It's not Ralph Figge who's just entered the building yet. Yeah. All right, so we haven't talked American Horror Story in a couple of weeks.
It's been a few weeks.
Yeah.
Well, I need to jump right into last week.
Yes. I think
That was a letdown. It went stupid.
It was really a letdown. I said to James after last week's episode, I don't know if you all saw it, but it was where we finally discovered that Michael Langdon, or I always want to say Michael Landon, was part of the Satanic Cult. Not only is he part of the Satanic Cult, Michael Langdon on the show is Satan, supposedly.
Right, and you know, the thing with last week, you know, it did go stupid. You know, how Kathy Bates gets turned into a robot is okay. I don't have a problem with that. But I'm talking about the Church of Satan, actually. All right, Sandra Bernhardt is a loudmouth blowhard to begin with.
Well, she's a lousy actress.
And
I've
I've
always wondered around her
ridiculous. It
career.
was like she was playing herself. It was horrible.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't even like her before I learned that I was a moderate. She was not funny at all.
No, I know that. She was a performance artist in New York that got lucky. I got to say that. I really don't like Sandra Bernhardt for one. But
you know what? And I went through all that just so I thought I'd get your panties in a ruffle, but it didn't happen.
No, because I'm of the same mind, and I'm wondering what has happened.
She's horrible.
Well, this is the weakest American Horror Story series ever. It's weak. It's W-E-E-K. Did I spell it?
It's still
no,
better.
W-E-A-K.
It's still better. It's still better than Roanoke.
I don't know. It's not keeping my interest at all. And how many more weeks have we got of American Horror Story?
5, I think.
Bob, you're saying this too?
Yeah,
Oh my
I
God!
am.
Who the hell cares?
But you're seeing now how we're going to be coming back around to how it started, and they're hanging out.
I'm
But
still telling you that it's a weak program, and I don't necessarily look forward to watching it as much as I used to.
see now,
It's run its course.
I'm into it up until last week. I'm going to give it one more shot, but last week was just horrible.
Oh, God.
But you
So-
have to, it's been a while since you were here. I haven't asked you this, and
Yes, yeah.
this should actually be kind of.
Yeah,
If you didn't enjoy this,
Yeah, no, I
I don't
know.
know, Bob Plass. How'd you like the visit back to the murder house?
I didn't even like that.
Wow.
Yeah. I didn't like the visit to the murder house. I sort of said, so what?
Did you see all the signs and the intentional things they put into that episode for you to pick up on?
Yeah.
Did you see that, Peter?
Yeah. But I'm telling you.
What about Stevie Nicks coming back to this series?
Stevie Nicks can come in and sing a song anytime she wants. But it's fine with me.
The White Witch.
Yeah, it's exactly right. I'm telling you, this is not the series for us. We've got to look forward to Big Brother Celebrity. I got it. When is that happening anyway?
Beginning of February.
February. February. Okay. Gotcha.
February.
But everybody, get out there and watch American Horror Story so that you can agree with us.
Agree with Bob. Because,
I'm agreeing with you, Peter. Ken.
that's the third time this morning he's called me Peter.
I don't know. I have Peter on my mind. We've been arguing all morning. But we love one another. Get out and vote.
The whole.
Bob just has random thoughts.
Yeah. I'm
And
all
now,
over the place.
random thoughts with Bob Plass.
Shiny things glitter.
Yeah.
Glitter.
Roanoke really sucked. I was fast forwarding through
This is a
episodes.
series of American Horror Story, everybody.
So
Roanoke.
because I've followed it from the beginning and I remember most of the years, most of the seasons.
Right.
I'm picking up on more than other people might be.
Right.
For instance, Papa Legba. All right.
Papa Legba was that African chieftain voodoo chieftain. Who came in and did. Yeah, I remember that.
So Papa Legba offered a deal and it was refused.
Yes.
All right. I'm thinking we haven't seen the last of him.
Okay. I don't have anything to say.
You don't have anything for that,
you
do
know
you?
why? I got to say this, that I'm just getting I'm lack of interest now. It's run its course. I wonder, is this the last season of American Horror Story?
If the series is following Dante's Inferno,
Right.
there's one more because there's 8 circles? Is it 8 circles or 9 circles of hell?
Right.
All right, and we're one shy of that.
Got it.
When it comes down to the number of seasons.
Well, it's if it doesn't get moving soon on the show, I can really feel like I'm in hell watching this show. It's really that bad. I hate it.
Even with the
hate
star of Versace in it.
I hate it. I am
See,
sorry,
are you
Peter.
surprised I knew that?
Yeah. Yes, I know. Really. Honest to God.
You didn't even listen to what I said.
Well, Michael Langdon is played by the guy who was in
He
Versace.
did listen.
Yes.
Yeah.
How do you like that?
Yeah, see, I knew that.
Yeah.
And I never
His name
even
is
watched
Fern Cody, for everybody wants to know. And hey, would I have to get going because today is voting day. I want to vote before I go home to watch Regis and Kelly.
You have to hurry up because you only have 10 and a half hours left to do that.
I want to vote right straight off and get it off my plate, for one. And two, this morning has fired me up about voting. I don't know. But have you voted yet, Kath?
No, I have not voted
The voting,
yet.
they only open at what time? What time do the...
7 a.m. to 8 p.m.
7 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Open now,
So,
Bob. You can go on the way home.
I'm going home.
Just
I'm
remember,
I'm
only
going down to
you-
see Tina Gorman. Hey, who's on Tina's show tomorrow? Do we know?
Oh, you have the
don't
same
know.
voting place as I do.
Yeah, I go to the senior center. Yeah.
Why was
Oh,
it-
Ralph Figge does as
Wait a
well.
minute,
Ward
you're,
two.
you're not 3 where you are?
No, I'm 2.
Oh.
To be or not to be.
That's Bob's
That's
question.
I think I'm 2B. No, I'm 2A. Which one am I? Yeah, A. Yeah.
But we all vote, 2A and 2B vote at the same polling booth.
Now they do.
Now we
I used to be able to walk to my poll.
Yeah.
Now I really can't.
Yeah.
I would have to cross Main Street and take my life in my own hands.
Wow! So now,
I try to.
Now
do that.
we're at the senior center. They have a lovely crew down there, and we're going to see Tina. Tina's show is tomorrow. It's going to be good. I don't know who's on it, but tune
First
in.
week, usually it's Dr. Gorman
Okay.
and somebody else.
All right. Sounds good.
And,
Hey, everybody.
And we do have to get out there and vote because only you can stop Liz Warren.
Oh, for God's sakes. I better get out of here before I'm fired up again. I've already ranted and raved. Hey, who you got on the program today? Who do you have?
Today I have Ralph Figge and Brent Bean,
Two.
counselors.
Great.
Fine
So
City.
they're gonna talk local politics.
I've got
Yes.
a bunch of local issues I'm going to run by them and see what they have to say. I'm also going to open up the phone line.
All right.
Which will happen to be when we come back.
Right.
413-572-5579, Bob.
Okay.
That's 413-572-5579. Go ahead.
Okay.
Talk.
I just want to say December. Thank you. December.
I've missed you.
Oh, thank you. Me too. I missed myself. December Fest.
So
is
whenever you
coming.
start to
What does that
mention,
even mean?
Yeah.
so whenever you start to mention anything, you like the way that happens?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Very good. Very good.
Go ahead.
December Fest is happening. It's the new name.
Now,
for
if you
Dickens
remember
this year.
from last year, I'm just bringing up last year so I could stop you and for no reason at all.
That's right.
Okay,
Dickens
go
Days
ahead,
is no longer
Bob.
happening. It's called December Fest. But we could not have done Pumpkin Fest without the City Council. The City Council came through this year. Almost every member of the City Council, there is only one out of the City Council that didn't participate. And they all supported the great event of Pumpkin Fest, and I thank you, and I'm going to thank Ralph Figge publicly. Sue and Ralph Figge from Caldwell Banker put us into under a tent, where we carved all these pumpkins. Thank you, Ralph Figge, and thank to the City Council and to the Mayor for all of their help, and the City of Westfield. Onward, everyone. I'm going off.
I was going to say, get out there and volunteer.
Get out there and vote.
Get out there and vote.
Alrighty, my friends. Bye-bye.
I keep forgetting we're not in love anymore. I keep forgetting things will never be the same again. I keep forgetting how you made that so clear. I keep forgetting, Lord. Every time you're near, every time I see your smile, hear your hello say
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Westfield Bank. For more than 160 years, Westfield Bank has been an important community presence and commercial leader in the Pioneer Valley. With convenient full banking services in Westfield, West Springfield, East Longmeadow, Agawam, Feeding Hills, Springfield, Southwick, as well as Enfield and Granby, Connecticut, visit us on the web at westfieldbank.org. We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646. Friday mornings is something different on 89.5 FM. It's JP's Talk About Town.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from the campus of Westfield State University. This is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
Pete, I
know we're good.
I don't care. I'm doing it.
Wait.
I'm doing it. 8:41 on the nose.
There you go.
It is the 6th day of November in the year 2018. Anno Domini. This is the Ken Stumpsy behind the microphone. Pete Cole's in front of the board. Kathy Palmer, side chick extraordinaire.
I'm here.
One of my two guests are here. Ralph Figge is in the studio.
Good morning,
Ralph.
We'll be along late.
Welcome.
But I got
Good
its
to
back.
have you.
I got its back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, once we do get down to some of the city issues, phone lines will be open, as I mentioned before the break. 413-572-5579. We're not looking to get into any debates.
Yeah, no heavy-duty stuff.
A question or a comment, and that's fine, because I actually, between what I have written down and what looks like Ralph has written down, we have a lot to cover.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
We do.
And I'm going to hold off on the... most of the juicy stuff, the big stuff, but one of the things that was announced last week, and it's a little different this year than years past, is the leaf collection.
Ah, yes.
All right?
Correct.
Yeah, you would have one day in order to get your leaves out to be picked up.
Okay.
I think what happened is we learned as we wait to one day and it snows, we're in a world of hurt.
Right.
But thanks to the citizens that stepped up big time to help us out with that, and they did raise a lot of money for the Technical Academy landscaping program. So out of all rain clouds comes, or snow clouds comes, a silver lining. So that was good.
Nice.
Now, the issue that I've had in the past is my pickup was always the first one and my leaves didn't drop yet.
Oh, I know. I got trees that got half their leaves.
So, it's so late this year. It's not even funny.
So this year, they're doing it along with your regular trash collection. And when I say regular trash collection,
Not the recycling.
not the recyclable week, all right?
Correct.
So the notice that they put out and some of the articles I've seen, it can be a tad confusing. You think you might be able to do it every week, but no, you do it on your non-recyclable week.
Right.
That way 1/8 of the city gets picked up every week.
I think once you understand how that works, it's better than what we've done in the past, because now you get two shots. You get two. Everybody should get two shots at it.
Yeah.
I
agree. I think we learned something from that snowstorm.
That's right, and it's been a tough year with the rain too. It's hard to clear the leaves with all the rain we've had. So
They
giving
get
them
real
two
heavy.
choices
Yep.
is really a better way to do it.
Luckily, my tree the tree that I have, the leaves dropped earlier than the other trees in my neighborhood for the first time ever. So I went out there with my my Husqvarna, and I have four paper bags worth now full of leaf particles to put out on the tree belt next week for me.
Did you get a sponsorship for that name drop?
No, he just has to spell it.
Oh gosh.
Good luck.
All right, so I used the husky in order to suck up the leaves from my
That's
lawn.
another name drop.
There you go.
That's two.
That's another brand name.
Are we keeping score here?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, husky was always short for Husqvarna.
Yeah, but it's also a brand name in what, Lowe's or something? Yeah, it's Lowe's. It's their brand name.
Yeah, and when I was a
didn't
child,
even know that one.
when I was a child, Sears pants were husky.
That's true. I remember that.
Yeah. And the husky used to be a name of some of the tractor, some of the home to Light Farm Boland's tractors. Those were labeled as Husky as well.
Okay.
Where did I pull that out of?
I don't know, but it was pretty good. I believe it.
So there's no yard waste. There's no limbs and whatnot to go into the leaf collection bags. It's leaves, ladies and gentlemen, and they have to be out on the curb in the paper leaf bags that you can pick up at a hardware store. I've seen them at some of the supermarkets. They need to be able to stand up on their own. All right, so make sure you pack them properly, and don't put them out there and leave them there for a week to let them get rained on, because then when our guys come around to pick them up and put them in the truck, they explode all over the place, and they're not going to sit there and clean it up.
No, it's going to stay right where it is.
So be smart about it. 8:45 going on to 8:46. We're going to do our break, and then we'll get into things.
Snapshot and it froze without a sound. Thursday morning was a hot flashback then. Her face still focused in my mind. Texture proof she loved is hard to find. Friday night we danced.
for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Barnes & Noble College Bookstore in the Ely Campus Center, offering Westfield State t-shirts, sweatshirts, and gift merchandise, all of your academic needs, and offering textbook materials in new, used, ebook, and rental formats. Available at the bookstore on campus or online at westfieldstate.bncollege.com. Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Comcast and Xfinity.com, offering Xfinity TV, Internet, home phone, and home security services. Information on all that Xfinity has to offer in the Westfield area is available online at Xfinity.com.
We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646. Friday mornings is something different on 89.5 FM. It's JP's Talk About Town.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
8:51 on the nose, Pete.
I got one.
You got one. Yeah, it wasn't the first one this morning either. Ken's Den, I have Ralph Figge and Brent Bean in the studio. And we, during the break, we went over, what are you going to hit me with? So we got some pretty good issues coming up. But before I get into any of those, I want to cover something. Well, it's not bad. Okay, it's good. All right,
really? In Westfield?
Yeah.
It's something good.
Contrary to Facebook.
Everybody always says, why don't we ever know when these projects are going to happen, or why didn't we ever get notice about this going in, or why didn't we ever hear about that happening? All right. Front of the paper. Spend 50 cents.
Both have the same paper.
Spend 50 cents a day and get a copy of the paper. Okay? It's 50 cents.
And you will know.
And you will know because it's on the front page. The engineering department will be taking public input on upcoming projects. And one of the projects is a street light.
That means they're holding a public hearing, folks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a street light that's going to be discussed on Springfield Road over near Walmart.
A traffic light.
Yeah, a light.
I thought that was already paid. The study was already done by the state.
The study's been done.
Yes.
Everything. We're now in the pre-engineering phase, so we need to get the public input as part of the engineering. We're only at 25%. This is a collaboration between public and private funds.
Right, I know that.
It's not all tax dollars that's gone into this. So I think that's huge, and people need to realize nothing in government is a sprint. Everything is a marathon.
Oh, I know that.
Things will take years to do. So
I had to learn that one.
You need to stay on top of things. So this public hearing will be held, and nothing will be done for a year and a half.
Right.
So,
well, look how long the
time.
Western Avenue project is taken, and that's finally hitting shovel ready this spring.
And the two Great River Bridges was a 20-year project.
Yep.
The rail trail's been a 10-year project, 15-year project. These all take time.
Mm-hmm. But it's the time for you now John and Jane Q. Public, to go hear about it and to voice your opinion.
And the time isn't when the plans are drawn and it's going out to bid.
When the bucket loader shows up, now's that is not the time to start.
You're going to destroy what?
Yes, absolutely. So now is your chance to give your 2 cents.
Also up on that docket, something we've been talking about for years: a light at the bottom of Springdale and
thank God.
Union.
Thank God. That's as a police dispatcher, I've dispatched. When I did it for 13 years, so many bad accidents at that intersection. It's unbelievable. I mean, bad accidents at that intersection, where and honestly, it's more of a traffic control measure on Union Street of slowing the cars down at that, because that's a straight line for them, and they fly through there.
Especially since it's been repaved.
Yeah, they fly through there now.
Taking all the speed bumps out.
Yeah. Now that was repaved using a different technique than anywhere else in the city. How is that holding up?
Skim coat, right? It's pretty
coat,
good. Yeah.
And what they did is they sealed all the cracks first, and they came through with a special coating, the skim coat. It seems to be holding up quite well.
Yeah.
It's cheaper than the mill and pave that we usually do. So it was a good experiment. It's a great road. It gets a lot of traffic, so we'll really be able to see how that holds up.
Yep.
South Maple is scheduled for the same type of treatment.
That really needs it too.
That will happen. We did a few other things instead of that road this year, so it's on the list.
Yeah, like
So-
Granville Road. And I finally drove that for the first time since they paved it. Oh my God, the improvement is 1,000%.
Well, Granville Road is a big improvement. North Road's a big improvement. We've done a lot. I think there's been more road work done this year than in the history of the city. I know in Ward 2 we got Avery Street done, finished. That was a project that we used funds from Peter Miller's office to do. We got sidewalks, curbs, and a new road. St. Denis, which has been promised to be paved for the last 20 years, got done. So things are moving. Even
it's
in
kinda-
Little Ward 2.
It's kind of funny. And let me open up my first comments with something not so positive, because that's how I roll. Maybe being here so long on the city council.
You're
but-
such a ray of sunshine.
Yeah,
Brent.
I really am. And it drives me a little crazy, because if you were to listen to city council meetings, you'd think that we're all just going into the abyss and not doing anything, and not doing what the people really want us to do. I know one of the issues was the meal tax money that came in, the extra meal tax money that the mayor promised to put into roads. You can clearly see that's happening. We have a couple councilors who would call him out and say that he didn't do that, but that's not the case. So, I'm trying to slow the rhetoric down to really show people, and I know Ralph's doing the same thing, to really show people that the city is moving forward. We are trying to get some things done. To go back to the Union Street and Springdale area, that's a $500,000 project there because of the proposed maybe a little rotary that might get put in, or a light that gets put in, because that's a paper mill. That's a weird kind of setup,
With
right?
a brook in the middle.
That's not just a T.
That's right.
That's a pi symbol down there.
People really, that's right. People really want to put pressure, though. You put pressure on the state because it shouldn't cost $500,000. That's the reality, and that's a lot of money to the city of Westfield. It just is, and we say it 100 times. We're the second biggest landmass, and we have a lot of miles of roads. And and Ralph said it just a couple minutes ago. We're doing a lot of pavement. You want to go through that list quick? Just kind of.
I don't have it all.
All right, yeah,
I don't have a list, but I can tell you just in Ward 2.
Paving wise, yeah.
We did East Silver. We did St. Denis. We did Avery. The whole downtown's been done.
Mm-hmm.
So, Ward 2's looking pretty good.
We got Route Road just got completed.
Route Road's been done.
Doing more.
North Road,
Montgomery.
Granville Road, Montgomery Road.
Yeah.
All over the city. I think
Shaker?
every ward.
Shaker Road?
Shaker Farms is big.
Shaker's a big one?
That was a big one.
Too.
Seems to be a lot of these roads are roads that have come up in social media.
Oh yeah, I think the public really plays a role in this, because
Absolutely.
we don't see everything clearly, and that's what the ward councilors does. Ralph does a fantastic job. All the ward councilors do, but I get a little upset because every time we discuss this stuff, it's not even a debate. It's just, it costs too much, we can't do it. Well, look what we're doing, and a lot of it's because there's been tough votes to take. And we don't get votes because we, raise taxes. We don't get votes because we put a meals tax increase and all that. But in the end, I think people are seeing the fruits of the labor. At least people are seeing where their money's getting spent. And I think the city's better off for it. So,
and I think these 2 traffic lights that are going to be discussed Thursday night at City Hall are needed. But there's also other intersections that could use it. I told the council the other night that the north side isn't the only side of town that's got traffic issues.
Right.
Try to take a left-hand turn out of Mill Street onto South Maple. Try to do that intersection. Try to take a left out of the shopping plaza up on Southwick Road. We got as much traffic there as they do on the north side. So, traffic is an issue. The city was built not for the modern-day transportation system that we have. And it's simple. We just got to try to do the best we can with what we got.
And this is happening at 6:30 this Thursday. That's room 315 that they're going to be having this in. One other thing they're going to be covering at this is a slip ramp to help alleviate some of the traffic up at Exit 3.
Correct.
Sure.
Is that taking the old by the hotel there and that really bad road?
Instead of
that road needs to be fixed too. That's a
if you
huge
enter
puddle.
the jug handle, instead of taking a left to go to the Pike, you'll go straight.
Right, yeah, exactly, down that road. Yep.
Yeah, right down by Savage Arms, and you'll be able to enter the eastbound only that way.
Right, that road though, I don't know if I cut through there a lot, go over by Savage Arms.
A lot of work.
Yeah, because it becomes a lake that would literally is bigger than a car anytime it rains heavily over there. So that road needs work.
Needs work. But that'll.
But
all
it's
be part
also
of it.
it's also great because that's where the commuter lot is. If you have commuting, and it's also where the truck park lot is. So that might alleviate some of the trucks going onto the Pike, and they would still hit the toll gate, I think, through there as well.
Oh, you'll hit the toll gate.
Oh yeah,
Trust me, they're not going to.
Yeah, they're not going to lose any money. Yes, I know.
No.
But you would still be in front of the toll gate, so the Mass Pike will get there.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't be up to speed at the toll gate, but you're gonna
catch you in the breakdown lane anyway.
Yeah.
Well, if it's engineered properly, it should have a long entrance ramp once you get onto the Pike before you merge in.
Right.
So yeah.
9 o'clock.
Do you want to take this real quick?
Do we want to take it real quick?
Yeah, WSKB Westfield.
All right, you are on the air. Who are we talking with?
Hi, this is Ellen next door on Overlook.
Hello, Ellen.
Hi, Ellen.
What's up?
Hi. Okay, pet peeve. Stripe the roads. Restripe the roads. They're terrible. I mean, not all of them, but everywhere. Everywhere I drive to Boston all the time. But in Westfield, please check that people can see the stripes in the road. That would be really good.
I agree with you on that one, especially as we get into the colder weather.
Cold and rainy season.
When it's dark and wet outside, it's more difficult to see how the roads are marked.
Please, especially, I don't like to say it, I'm elderly, so, it's hard to, really make out those stains. And when it's raining and the leaves and all that. So please, if you can spare the dime, please do it.
We'll take that under advisement.
Thanks, Ellen.
Good.
Anything else?
Thanks. Have a good day.
And Ellen, don't forget to vote today.
Oh, I'm pleased. I live right next door to Second Congo there. I'm walking over.
I heard you can vote twice. You can vote early and today.
No, stop.
We're not in Chicago.
I've got one more thing, just
Sure.
throwing it out there. So I walk around the campus. Those big, beautiful lights that, over by the admin building and all that, there's 5 of them out.
Oh.
That's Westfield State. That's your.
I got it. I can take care of that for you.
I'm throwing that out. 5.
Yep.
Plus the two gigantic lights out there on the Ave. The really big, pretty.
Sure.
Okay,
Ornamental
one's out.
Okay, and then you said 5 though, or where?
Yeah.
Are those?
In Horace Man?
Yeah.
Horse Man lot?
There's a light off in my office right now.
No,
So I gotta-
yeah. No, those 2 big,
That's
the
normal.
memorial lights. The 2 big memorial lights?
Yes.
One's
Okay.
been out for
Got it.
Forever.
All right.
All right, thanks, guys.
Yeah,
Have
you're
a good
welcome.
day.
Thanks, Ellen.
Thanks for calling.
Thanks,
You're
Ellen.
welcome. Bye.
All right, you now have a task to take care of.
Can you write that down, Brent?
I just took 2 hours of time. Like now I'm working for the state again.
It's almost 9:03 in the morning. We'll be back right after this.
What's the frequency cat at the shopping subtract? I was sprained and locked out, not up to speed. I
is generously underwritten by Whip City Fiber, Westfield Gas and Electric, where they offer gigabit internet speed. Whip City Fiber, turning Westfield's neighborhoods into fiberhoods. On the web at whipcityfiber.com.
We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646.
Thursday morning from 6 till 8, it's Patrick Berry, owner of the Westfield News Group,
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
907.5. You're doing it this morning, Pete.
Thank you. I try. I don't always succeed, but I try.
Ken Stomsky behind the microphone. In front of the Radio Millennium Board is the November Nerd of the Knobs, right?
Yes.
Right? Did I get that right?
You did.
And it's Knobs and not Knobs.
Well, it could be either or.
Right. But you know what? It's always going to be
tomato.
I'm not going to argue with him.
It's always going to be Kitten of the Keys. Chairman Meow. Sidecheck extraordinaire Kathy Palmer is in his house. And our guests this morning...
That one could qualify for Ralph, too.
Our guests this morning are city councilors Ralph Figge and Brent Bean. Now, I'm going to get right to brass tacks here. First of all, was a promise made no more trucks on the north side? Did you make a promise?
I have not made a promise, and I don't know who did. You know, in politics, promises are only as good as the person making them stays in office. So I don't know who on the council made such a promise, or in City Hall, or where. So I'd be as interested to find that information out, just for my own knowledge as well.
Did you make a promise, Brent?
No, but
all right.
And being someone who grew up off of Montgomery Road, so I'm very familiar with it. My mom's still up there, and I'm there all the time. But not enough in her mind, but I'm there
Never
a lot. And I coach at Roots, so I drive through there fairly regularly. And I can completely understand why people get frustrated with it, because there is. I mean, it's a traffic problem, and like Ralph had talked about, there's a traffic problem everywhere in the city. And I guess for me, when you talk about promises, it's usually with that current administration, I think someone just said. So there was a former mayor did make a pledge to the residents when he was in office that there would be no more trucks on the north side.
Yeah, but that's kind of it's a hollow one, because you can't control what happens in Southampton.
And you can't control what happens in the council either.
His I'm not going to speak for him, but in my opinion, his thing was no new, facilities for trucks. I mean, we understand that there's going to be things that we can't control, right? If they're zoned properly and permitted properly, and other than maybe a little site plan approval, we're going to have it happen. So this one in particular, which I'm assuming we'll get to, was a new facility, and I think Ken was going to kind of explain what we were going to talk about.
I just wanted to make sure that none of you made this promise I've been hearing about.
No, but we did promise that we would pay attention to it, and we did promise that we would make sure that the planning was done properly and people had input, and I think in this last time we did, and the company was very accommodating as well. So,
all right, speaking of the company now, all right, Old Dominion decided to pull out.
They did.
All right, thousands and thousands and thousands of tax dollars just were sitting right in front of us, and they were just snatched away.
Yep.
Question to you gentlemen.
But Ken, could you explain what the plan was so that the people know?
It was a logistics terminal, basically.
Yeah. Similar to what Lowe's is and things like that.
Yeah, distribution center.
And where was it going to be?
Up on the north side.
Any specific site?
The Medeiros Way, right?
Medeiros Way, yeah.
Yeah, it was going to be on Charlie Medeiros Way.
I mean, I know that, but I don't know
Right.
all the listeners do.
Yeah.
So.
What I'm driving at is we lost a golden opportunity to maybe have a slight impact on the tax shift in the city. That something that big would have affected the tax shift somewhat. It would have resulted in maybe slightly smaller residential taxes, or it might have kept them from going up as high as what they may have gone up. We lost that opportunity.
I think back of the envelope number was probably anywhere between $80,000 and $100,000. And that's including the personal property tax stuff and that real estate tax. That's for what City Hall had told us. That's pretty much. I think 100,000 is probably on the high side, but anywhere between 80 and 90.
But still, nothing to sneeze at.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
No.
So my question now, and I don't know if either you two gentlemen have the answer to this. Where do we get tax revenue if nobody wants businesses to come in? Ralph?
Well, there's two ways to generate income for a city or town. The first one is to raise taxes. That can be done every year up to 2.5%. It's set by state law. It can be done. It's not a popular thing to be done. It's a hard thing to do, but that's one way you can increase the revenue going into the city. The other is through new development, new buildings, new businesses. So those, like Brent was alluding to, Old Dominion would have been contributing $100,000 to the tax base. That's new money, and that would allow us to utilize that. So you either raise taxes or you get more people, more businesses into the community. That's my understanding.
Brent?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, Ralph's obviously right. There's some efficiencies we can tighten up on, of course, and there's always something that we can. I mean, we've been tightening for a lot of years, just for the record. But the problem is we're facing with our city, and it goes back to the traffic that we're dealing with, and the modernization of the city, and the way it was laid out, the planning of the city for 50 years ago, 100 years ago, however it was poorly planned, in my opinion. To having Westfield Electroplating in our downtown as an industrial, great company, great family.
Well, they were down there with all the whip companies.
It was proximity to the river at the time.
With HB Smith.
They really shouldn't be located there, right? I mean, I think it's fair to say. I'm not saying they're not.
It's out of place there now.
Correct.
Yeah.
But as you move forward, now we're looking at a situation where most of our commercial land, open, which, by the way, city and towns across the Commonwealth would be absolutely excited to have, is open space to develop. And I'm not saying not preserve open space, so I don't want to hear any phone calls in about 2 seconds. But it's all on the north side. The north side's got some traffic concerns, and they also we just had a water scare. So we're dealing with this internal battle, and maybe the pendulum swinging way too much the other way, in my opinion, because of what happened with water and maybe some traffic stuff. So we're a little blinded by what's good and what's not. And on the Old Dominion side, they're probably one of the best trucking companies in the country. They invest in their facilities. They invest in their roadways. They invest in the community that they're in, on top of paying for taxes and new jobs. We were talking anywhere from, maybe I forget, maybe 40 new jobs. I think we were talking. I could be wrong on that. I'm guessing, but it was right around that number. So as far as getting new monies into the city, it's growth, and we go through a budget process, and we can't get some city councilors to really bear down and try to give positions to the city hall to make some of this stuff happen. I mean, we have a person who's, Joe Mitchell, very bright, very ambitious, very active. Our community development office is the same, but there's not enough. There's not enough people to go out on everybody knows when it comes to sales and we're trying to sell the city, you need people on the ground knocking on the doors and trying to pull towns or pull businesses into the town. And so that hasn't happened. I think as a council, we failed on that. We've gotten better. But as far as really promoting and marketing the city, we can't get through a budget process without cutting some of the marketing money. And some people be like, just fix my roads. I get it, but that's short-sighted. We need to invest in our community, just like we invested in our downtown, and we've seen somewhat of an uptick. We've done our infrastructure. We've done, roadways, that kind of stuff. But in the end, we can't be short-sighted. And politicians like us can't be nervous about taking some of those hard votes. I'm seeing now, and again, I'm on the longest since Councilor O'Connell had stepped away. Her and I were probably about two years apart, and now it's Dave and I. And Dave, I think, is the second one in line here. I'm tired of people always running for office rather than governing, and that's what we're seeing. One of the major things that I get hit for, and it's not so much the cost, and even I agree, and I've railed on it in the state of, or the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, things cost too much money. But in the end, I get yelled at. I get calls. A lot of friends, family who really hit me on some things. Is because we're not getting stuff done. It's not because of the actual cost of the project, even though it's astronomical. We make promises to move the city forward. We make promises to have the debate happen. And right now, we have people that are just trying to hold everything up on process. We don't know enough. It's cost too much. Some of the excuses are great, but in my mind these days, they're all excuses. Take a hard vote and you're there to move the city forward, and I'm just not seeing it.
Ralph, before I go to break, any other words regarding losing Old Dominion, or maybe to address what Brent just brought up?
Well, I think that through the special permitting process, we were able to raise solutions to a lot of the concerns of the citizens on the north side. I don't want to poo-poo the citizens on the north side. These are legitimate issues, but I think we need to be able to work together to solve these problems so that we can have smart development throughout the city. I like the way that Joe Mitchell has utilized some abandoned properties. I think he's trying hard to do that, as well as the new construction on these things. So it's a tough balance, but Brent's right. You got to take the vote. You got to be able to vote for what's going on. I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised after 35 years. There's going to be some actual movement on the Newberry site. The WRA is meeting as we speak to discuss the proposal. So they want to go out for bid for some things. So I think you're seeing the downtown's coming back. I think the council's done some things to try to help downtown merchants. We just passed the sidewalk cafe ordinance. It's a permitting process with no fee attached to it to help these businesses out. So I think we're trying to do what we can. But bottom line, in order to increase the budget expenditure side, you got to increase the income side, and there's only two ways to do that.
Excellent. 919 quick break, Pete.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Dunkin' Donut Shops of Westfield and the Sardinia family. It's nice to know that even as the world changes, Dunkin' Coffee remains the same at 7 convenient locations throughout Westfield.
We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646.
He rules the roost on Thursday from 6 till 10. It's Patrick Berry.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
You know what, Pete? You did it. 9:20 on the nose. And it just changed over to 20 as I said nose.
Quick break.
Yeah.
I said quick break.
I timed it out right. So something I've been noticing in the police log the past few weeks, and I think it's a wonderful, glorious thing. And an article was came out a few weeks ago saying that this was going to happen. Officers have been detailed to the homes of people who haven't paid fines for ordinance violations.
Ooh. That's one way to get some cash.
Okay.
Yeah. So supposedly, and if I'm wrong, somebody correct me. From what I understand, they get the fine. They get a warning letter saying, "Look, you need to pay the fine." And at this point, that letter's gone out. I believe now the officers dispatched to the house to say, "Look, we're gonna have to bring you to court now." Is that what's going on here?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're really trying to be more active on enforcement. I mean, it's kind of fall by the wayside in the grand scheme of things, and because there's probably more important things to do in the city than this kind of stuff, and no one wants to enforce these kind of things.
But you ran amuck of the law. You got to pay your damn fine.
Yep.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of laws in the books that people are breaking that they don't even know they exist. So that's another problem. So, I talk about signage, right? We talk about these, right? A lot of signs get put up. Election signs just recently, get put up on a corner. That's a violation. You can't just leave them there. You can't. You just can't, and people should be fined because of that.
So you know what? I think by now we should have gotten a ton of money out of the guy who sells mattresses off a sign at the end of Meadow Street.
Yeah, the one on Little River too.
Yeah. He owes us money.
Yeah. No.
Enforcement of ordinances has been an issue, and I think that we need to work with. Let's face it, the building department's understaffed for them to have a full-time enforcement officer. But a city the size of Westfield needs a full-time code enforcement officer. The city of Springfield has a unit made up of building inspectors and police officers that do that. So I'm not saying that we need to have anything the size that Springfield has, but we need to have somebody that's a full-time enforcement agent to enforce the special permits that get issued, to enforce the signs that are all over. We need somebody that can go out and just, that's what they do.
Could be a source of income for people who don't want to have any more businesses come in.
Well, it could definitely be a revenue generating position, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, in the end, you could pay somebody.
It's very time consuming for the payback that you actually get, though. That would be an issue.
And it requires a lot of knowledge about a lot of different things. It's just not something you can pick up and go. I have a dream that someday the community policing department will take over some of these responsibilities. But that's working with them, and do they see that as their role as a police officer, as a code enforcement officer?
Right.
I mean, it's a discussion that's going to need to be had for a while before anything can go across. So, enforcement. Marianne Babinski, the Ward 1 counselor, that's her first question. Who's going to enforce?
That's right.
And it's a great question.
That's right.
It's a tough one. My pet peeve is putting the furniture out on the lawn. I don't care.
Yep.
One night, I'm fine with that. But boy, I go down some of the streets on the north side, Prospect Hill, and that couch is out there, and it's been rained on. And come on, folks.
Yeah. And what eventually happens is the ward counselor will call the DPW and say, "Can you do it just this one time?" And the DPW has to go out and pick that up.
That's
it's
a secret.
Not the way it's supposed
I know,
to.
but
now everybody's going to be doing it. I have 25 listeners now. Come on.
But we have a real problem out on Pachasik with people dumping.
Sure.
That's a huge issue. My favorite is I have an unknown member on the police force, not mentioning, and he happened to follow a truck come down, unload it, and when he stopped and the man's question was, "Oh, gee, my tailgate opened up and it must have fallen out."
Right.
All nice and stacked in the corner.
And I just would like to say to these people, I understand that you don't want to pay the $30 to have whatever store take out your appliance, but who do you think's going to take it out of my hayfield?
Exactly.
That's my hayfield.
I know.
That's a cash crop that you are dumping something on.
Oh, I agree.
Why does my corn taste like couch? I don't understand that.
It's got a little,
the leather residue.
A woolly taste to it. So
it is. But something that we did through Ralph's committee was the drop boxes. We were really hand tied on what we could do without just completely getting rid of them. And there's a revenue stream there. There's a business that takes care of that. Boys and Girls Club's got some money through that stuff.
But they're a mess.
So we just did some things through Ralph's committee, and now you're seeing we pull up a few of them, and now they're governed by an ordinance that's. Now, granted, we have one or two business owners who do that stuff. We're very mindful of it, and because they're local, right? It's the out-of-towners that we got to really pay attention to, because the local guys see it every day. They know that there's problems, and we just had a problem down on Orange Street, I think.
You think about the problems you could have with those boxes, though. It could be like major. You go south down 495, and you have the pull-offs there.
Yeah.
And they have the collection boxes at these pull-offs, these rest areas along the highway.
Yeah, dumb.
And there's usually 5 couches next to one. And
we had
wow, it's a donation area. I'll just throw my trash here, and I'll just say it's a donation.
And that's what happens is people think they're trash receptacles, and they're not. I have to give the Boys and Girls Club a lot of credit. When I called Bill Parks about the issue we had on Orange Street, he got right on it.
Yep.
And as a result, he's changing vendors. So he's going to go with the local guy because of it was just disgraceful, and to call a national company. It is an important revenue stream for Bill. So I got to give the Boys and Girls Club a lot of credit.
The larger problem is you just, and we try to do it, and we all agree, we just have different ways of getting there. You just can't legislate good behavior.
No.
That's the problem, and we do this we try to do it, but it just we add laws. We never take anything away. And half the laws that we keep adding never get enforced to begin with. So it's almost a good feel kind of thing. So.
During the last segment, Brent says, well, you know what? We're getting things done in the city. Now, I follow social media. And by the way, I think one of my upcoming rants or monologues.
Is it about me?
No, it's going to be social media. Because now with so many pages and groups, I don't have enough time in my day to cover everything, to make sure I'm on top of all the action. So that might be coming up in a monologue. But one thing I used to see constantly on social media were comments and posts about the water here in town. And I haven't seen much activity on that, but I know that things are happening and things are going on with that.
Yeah,
I see it on the bottom of Springdale Road.
Yeah, which is well too, I believe. Right?
Yep, I believe you're correct. Yep.
So that was the first wave of things that we were starting. I think we are a little bit behind schedule when it comes to that stuff because it's a large project and
that tank was enormous. I mean, that thing had to be 3 stories tall.
Yeah, and I mean you gotta give some leeway to those things. There's a lot of unforeseen that happens when you're dealing with stuff like this. But in the end, it was a great vote that some took last year on doing clean water, and I take it again. Is it going to take some time to put this stuff in place? Of course. And, you want to get to the bigger ones down by the airport and get that site cleaned up as well. And we're moving forward. All I can say is we're moving forward. It took 3 or 4 months to actually get it passed.
4 months and 3 votes.
Yeah. So we delayed it too.
Plenty of meetings.
Again, people yelling at me because it's not getting done, not because of what it cost or... Mm-hmm. So the rhetoric, we need some people to show up to argue the other side, and we're not seeing that. So,
there is a lawsuit in place, and that's another reason why we haven't really heard anything come from the council regarding this.
Yeah, there's actually 2 lawsuits that are going on at this point, and because it's active litigation, we're not supposed to be discussing.
There's a gag, basically a gag order involved here, right?
Yeah, you don't want to tip your hand. You don't want to say something inadvertently that's going to come back and used against you. You're just better off not saying anything. But
the city is the plaintiff in those.
Yeah,
right?
We are the plaintiff.
Right.
So everyone that was screaming over the past year and a half, lawsuit. Well. Can't say much about it, but something's happening.
Yeah, it's in progress.
Yeah. 9:29 and a half, Pete. Quick break once again because we got a bunch of additional juicy stuff to go over.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Bay State Dental. Comprehensive dentistry at 14 convenient locations in Springfield, Chicopee, Longmeadow, West Springfield, Belchertown, East Longmeadow, Ludlow, Northampton, Greenfield, and Wilbraham, as well as 29 Broad Street in Westfield. Bay State Dental makes it a priority to help you achieve and maintain the healthy smile you deserve. On the web at baystatedental.com.
We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646.
Wednesday mornings from 6 till 8, it's Tina Gorman with Wake Up Wednesday.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
They don't know it.
9:30. It's 9:30 here at WSKB. I have in the studio Ralph Figge and Brent Bean. We've been going over several topics that are going on in the city, and
it's good to catch up every once in a while.
One of my things was on the first Tuesdays of the month, I always wanted to do something involved with the city councilors or people in city government, and I've done that to a point, but over the summer, you kind of like take a pause away from it, which I did. And then I started back up a little bit as it got cooler out. And I haven't really gone all into it until today, which Kathy was just saying during the brief intermission we had. These were actually one of her favorite shows.
It is.
And now I need to figure out who...
It's kind of like, it's kind of like going to the mayor's coffee hour. It's kind of like the same thing where not a lot of people can go to that, but the people that do get a lot of education of what's going on.
There were over 45 businesses represented yesterday at that. I was fortunate enough to be able to go, and they seem to be getting bigger, and the questions that are being asked are much more informational type questions. So it's good to see the connections that are starting to be made. Because networking, let's face it, networking is the only way anything gets done. You got to network to get it done. And it's really nice to see the attendance growing at those mayors.
And that's why I appreciate what you're doing, Ken. You're putting it out to a wider audience that can catch it at work or...
All 25 of my listeners.
There's a lot more than that.
Oh, we went up by 4. Wow.
But they can catch more. They can catch more things out there. They can really can start doing some wider audience.
And now I still haven't locked down next month's first Tuesday. So I don't know who I'm going to have in here.
Anybody interested? Find Ken on. You can find him on Facebook.
All the counselors know how to get in touch with me. If you're interested, send
Jump
me
on in.
Email or a private message, and I have an open hour and a half in about a month, and I can have up to 3 of you in here if I need. Now 2 is comfortable. 3 isn't quite a crowd, but it gets a little stuffy.
You can always have one by phone.
We can always do that, too.
Yes, we could.
All right. Things have changed a little bit with the gas and electric light department here in town. And I don't know if it's just the timing of everything, but now we're talking about having Genie commissions and even other commissions be telecast or recorded, Brent.
Yeah. It was a motion that I've been trying to move forward for several years, probably 10 plus, and it's kind of just fallen on deaf ears, to be honest with you. It's gone out to the G&E, and we really have. I mean, we've gotten some conversation about not wanting to be on TV or what's the real need and stuff. So I resurrected it recently, and we had the full council sign on to it. And
that's the first.
Yeah. I mean, that's right. Yeah, it was monumental, actually. So we actually marked that
for
down.
you. Wow.
We put that in the
13
absolutely.
signatures on that motion.
And it was the motion with the sign on of a motion is so you can have a discussion. It's not about approving it. It's not about not approving it. It's just simply let's have the discussion. And it passed unanimously, I believe. And it went to government relations, which I sit on. Councilor Surprise is the chair with Councilor Harris. So we'll have a meeting on that. And what it basically entails is that we have asked the MLB, the Municipal Light Board, which governs the G&E, to start videotaping or whatever, streaming, how the terminology is, right?
Well, I mean, there's 2 ways of doing it. They could do it live.
Yep.
Or they can post it to, the city Vimeo account where people have access to it afterwards.
Right, and I would think we would unveil all of those options to them and hopefully take advantage of all of it. But as I said before, it's becoming inexpensive to do this stuff. It's becoming easier to do this stuff, meaning you can. Flip. I know. I got Ken and Pete.
Relatively.
I got Ken and Pete looking at me like you're a moron and you don't know what you're talking about.
You still have to have a person involved.
But they also house Whip City Fiber, so I think they can figure it out.
Oops! Ouch!
Yeah.
Ooh,
so
burn.
and I've got some commissioners over there, or light board members are in favor of it, and I think some are not. for whatever reason, and we'll discuss that in government relations. But I just think it's becoming easier where a novice can run it. You know, if someone's there, like we're going to do with subcommittees on the council side. The school committee is also on public access. Our planning board is who's just appointed. So I just said, listen, I mean, there's a wave here. I think Councilor Emershai was pushing these subcommittee pieces, which is
Surprise, yeah.
In Surprise. So what we were looking to do is let's start with the elected boards. Let's make sure all of them, because the people are the ones electing those individuals there. And then we'll trickle down into other commissions maybe, or other subcommittees. I mean, some of these subcommittees and some of these commissions probably don't warrant it, but just because of what the discussions are. But you know, if we can do it all, we'll do it all. There is a cost to this. There's no doubt about it on the city side, and we're working through Pete Coles to do that. But as far as the G&E goes, they're an elected body, and I think now being that they've been doing their meetings for quite some time down on Industrial Way, which is off of Lockhouse Road, which isn't in the center of the city anymore. I think it's only more prudent that they get on TV. So we'll see what the discussion brings. I'm hoping we could put that meeting on TV to have that discussion. And you know, they're doing a fantastic job over there. I don't see the reason why they wouldn't start broadcasting it.
Do they have fiber over at that facility?
I'm sure they do.
All right,
I'm sure they do.
So they have
Probably right to the room.
So they have enough broadband to push that IP cam over.
You're being facetious, Ken. I get
it. You know, when we originally started this process, you know, even like, you know, there was other councilors in favor of it. It just kind of, to be honest, I don't think there was much follow through on my part. So we're definitely going to do that this time. I think it warrants them being on TV, and I'm very interested to hear why they don't want to be on TV. So.
Mm-hmm. Ralph, where are you with the subcommittees going out on camera?
L&O has.
I don't know. I just got your email.
95% of their committees on Channel 15. So the Legislative Ordinance Committee, I think there's two vital committees on the council. Finance is one, and L&O is the other.
Agree.
Those are the two committees that are the heartbeat of your council. I've never been one that has tried to do any shady deals or any dog trading or anything, so I have no issue with our meetings being posted. I hope people watch them. I think they can learn some things. They're trying to make them informative, and it just shows how the system works. I think since the public schools have stopped teaching civics, the people really don't understand how government works. They don't know the process. There are procedures in place that you must follow. Even some of our sitting councilors don't understand the procedures to do certain things.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
been a pet peeve of mine.
How can you not teach civics?
As a former government major in college, it is a pet peeve of mine as well. It's just
there was a bill.
How can you not teach civics,
Kenny? There was a bill in the House and the Senate when the motor voter bill came on. With everybody, if you had a license, you could vote. You had to opt out of it. Otherwise, you're automatically registered to vote. I asked the person that was the organizer for that once, really pushing that bill. I says, so we don't teach civics in high school, so you're going to mint all these voters out there and issue them out there they don't have a clue how government works. And she goes,
yeah,
exactly.
We do need some education on that point, but you're absolutely right. In the state, it's not a required subject anymore. 15 years ago,
it's coming back, though, because I think that law went through conference committee, and I think it did pass in the last session.
That would be good.
Yeah.
That would be good.
But it was that should be added to STEM. It should be STEM.
STEM's hot right now.
STEM C.
You know what I'd like next week on your show, Kenny, is maybe you'd invite a MLB member. You know, they have a chairman. Maybe he could give you a designee to come in and discuss this particular
light
topic.
Board issues for the next.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, because there's a lot going on. I mean, they're doing fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Our rates are fantastic.
Great.
You know, Whip City Fiber's moving out all over the city, and
why can't I sell my fiber back to him or my solar back to him?
I don't know.
I think that's a good question to ask them.
Get them all.
From what I understand, Westfield doesn't buy your excess solar power.
They don't.
I heard that.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, I don't. I think because we're a municipality is the reason, but why? I don't know.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah,
well, maybe you could have the general.
I'm not rushing out to put PVs up on my.
All
roof
I
anytime
know, it
soon,
gives
no.
me a great excuse when I'm walking through Costco and the solar guy comes up to me and says, "Hey, do you want to talk to me about, I go, "Yeah, I'm in Westfield." "Oh, all right." And he leaves me alone. So I appreciate
Exactly.
that. As I'm eating my sausage dog walking out of the place.
Yeah, I think that would be.
It's fantastic, by the way.
Do they
Great
still?
sausage.
Do they still have them? I heard that they were getting.
They better not.
Ooh,
They
you
better
better.
not.
You better look when
I get a sausage dog and then I can go over to the liquor store. That's like utopia.
When was the last time you've been there?
Oh, it's got. Okay, I go every week.
Okay.
You got two teenage daughters. Of course, he goes
I go there
every
every week.
It might have been BJ's getting rid of their hot dogs.
Yeah, they did.
See,
okay, it was
see the
BJ's.
rumors you're starting already.
There you go.
This show, I don't know. I don't know.
But you know,
Validating
the sausage
They put it in
that they
Dunkin'
use
Donuts.
at the place that you go to.
Yes.
I understand you will be able to buy that at the Trader Joe's going in where the Bonton used to be.
Oh, that'd be
You're bad.
I like it, Kenny. I like it.
Awesome.
Get out there. Go get it.
I don't think they're going to have too much trouble from the Whole Foods that will be going in across the street from there.
Here we go. Here we go. Call your ward counselor.
Okay.
That's word 5.
Moving along.
Teach Bobby Paul to go to Florida, huh?
That's right. That's right.
He was supposed to be the original. Thanks for pinch hitting for him.
I
there,
know.
Brent.
I know. Yeah, I'd like to. Help out every now and
I
then.
covered the stuff I want to cover. What do you have to throw at us, Ralph?
Well, I think that contrary to some people's beliefs that there are a lot of positive things happening in the city. I think we need to really take heart and look around and see the positive that's going on. I'm thrilled that during my tenure on the council, we're going to have the completion of the rail trail. I think that's going to be a huge
Fantastic.
benefit.
Are we going to see it happen, actually?
Actually, we are because it's gone out to bid.
Awesome.
So
That's great.
That's a few million more dollars that's going to come in.
I will use that.
And you know the best part of this is, once that Thomas Street Bridge gets replaced, I'm not going to get any phone calls about that garbage truck backing down the street to pick up the garbage.
Don't fit.
It doesn't fit.
There we go.
It doesn't
Beautiful.
fit
13.6.
under the thing.
Beautiful.
You know, I think another highlight is the senior center, and the senior center just being built was huge. But the new programs that are coming out of the senior center because of that are just incredible. There's a $5,000 grant that Senator Humison was able to get to the senior center that is now going to be used in conjunction with the horticulture program at the Technical Academy. The Technical Academy is going to expand their hydroponic production, and as a result, it's going to supply the senior center with fresh fruit and produce for their lunches. So that was a nice way of...
It's amazing what $5,000 can do, right?
$5,000 can do things.
Yeah.
The other thing is we now have a community police station at the senior center.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first of its kind.
Statewide.
Statewide. So we now have Officer Carbonell down there. I think it's going to be a great location. It's going to help out the seniors because a majority of the seniors that live in the subsidized and the senior housing live within walking distance of the senior center.
Right, because it's right out their back door.
So
it literally is right out the back door.
Right out the back door of a couple of them.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I think there's great things happening with our school system. I think are there problems? Absolutely, but I think that they are being identified and addressed. I want to give a shout out to Kate Perez, new math supervisor, and Lauren Figge, new science and technology supervisor, for the work they did on STEM Week when they took 400.
That was awesome. We saw that.
400 eighth graders down to the Technical Academy over 2 days.
They were watching us do the live shows on Thursday.
Yeah, we were
They
there.
were.
It was
So,
amazing. It
Yeah,
was
they were watching
just
us do live
fabulous.
shows.
What
It's
a great
just-
program.
It is. So,
And then you got the early college program
The
and Westfield
college
Promise.
courses, yeah.
I mean, it's...
I think probably one of the highlights is the relationship that's being developed and continues to grow with Westfield State. In the old days, it was them up there versus us.
Yeah.
And now it's
Yeah.
more of a collaboration. What can we do? I think one of the reasons, I'm going to knock on wood here, is we haven't had a whole lot of complaints about house parties downtown in the residential neighborhoods, because I think the work that we've done with the college, the administration, has really helped. You know, it's more so now is if these guys are breaking the law, arrest them.
Yeah.
You know, and that's been a big change.
Yep,
and I think it's really helped.
Sula Montaigne, Carlton Pickron, both have recognized that, and then
As has the president.
And Dr. Torresia, on top of the educational opportunities, and you get concerned when a new president comes in like that, and
Absolutely.
because he's not from the area and stuff, but he totally recognized as soon as he sat here and understood the importance of that town-gown relationship, as well as the educational opportunities for people in the community. So.
He looked at it as an advantage and not a hindrance, which was a great thing.
No doubt about it.
It was a whole 360. It was a whole.
He does ride-alongs with the cops.
He does.
He's
out
really
there.
out there. So
he really is. And I think the Westfield Promise program, for those that you don't know, is where high school kids come to campus and take college classes. My
I was
dream.
just thinking about that. Wait a minute, hold on. I was just thinking about that. Imagine, getting a call for a house party, right? Out rolls the two uniformed police officers and the president of your college, and you roll up on that one, and they go, "Oh boy!"
Yeah.
You're not scared with the guy with the gun. You're scared with the president.
The future is in his hand.
Do I owe you a quarter of?
You do.
All right, let's make it a quick one.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Dunkin' Donut Shops of Westfield and the Sardinia family. It's nice to know that even as the world changes, Dunkin' Coffee remains the same at 7 convenient locations throughout Westfield.
Underwriting for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Westfield, serving the youth of the Whip City and surrounding communities since 1969. For more information on the Great Futures Club for ages 3 to 5, happening weekdays, and the Club Teen Center for ages 11 and older, weekdays from 6:30 till 8 p.m., go online at bcgwestfield.org or visit the club at 28 West Silver Street. The Boys and Girls Club of Greater Westfield. Great futures start here. We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646. Wednesday mornings start off right from 6 to 8 a.m. with Tina Gorman and Wake Up Wednesday.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
9:48 on the nose, Pete. Oh, only if the general population could get in on the conversations we have during our breaks here.
Careful what you ask for.
Yeah.
Well, Brian does, but now he's going to a class. He leaves at 9:20.
Right.
He just left.
So, Brent, anything that you want to get out now? I'll give you your soapbox.
I've been on my soapbox, and I when we just to piggyback on the schools a little bit, and obviously my wife's works for the public schools, for full disclosure, and she works for the Promise program, and maybe she's listening today.
Do you all meet up at any particular restaurant in town to talk about things?
Date night? Is that what we're calling it? Date night?
Yeah, date night.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
absolutely. I guess I don't do it enough because she yells at me, but nonetheless, we need to probably focus our attention on the school department, across the board. I think we've the administration there has done yeoman's work when it comes to organizing and educating, and we need to be better at helping them with their needs. On top, and funding has a lot to do with that, right? So, we've had some, things come to finality, like the elementary school on Cross Street. So we're moving past that. We're going to be expanding our elementary schools with Franklin, hopefully, depending on how this all works out. But then we really need to focus our attention on the high school. The Westfield Technical Academy is doing a fantastic job. There's been real momentum. And I think as counselors, we've all ridden that, ride that momentum a little bit. And there's been some great leadership there. And with Stefan moving from the Voc to the administrative, the big job, right? So he understands that. He's done great. I think we need to help him more. I think we need to figure out a way to market the department and help with funding and help with expansion. Their hands are tied a lot with some state mandates and where their money goes. And rather than throwing it, the rhetoric out there, we need a new high school. We need a facility to help support the activities around that high school. So, Ralph and I have had several conversations about this. He's a big advocate as well, and we don't do it enough. I've been told we don't do it enough, meaning advocating for the school department. We definitely are cheerleaders. There's no doubt about that. But I think everybody needs to kind of look in the mirror and say we need to be better in Westfield as far as our education goes.
Do we need a new high school, or do we need to expand and upgrade?
That's going to get weighed. In my opinion, that building is really antiquated. And talking to somebody who, my backyard is the high school track. It was built in 72, 3, whatever, something like that, right?
Well,
so it's time. It's time, and there's plenty of land. So
you have the opportunity to do what Comp did, is build across the street.
We're
and
very
then
lucky.
Revamp the ball fields later.
We don't
That's
even
what Chicopee Comp
We
did.
don't even need across the street. We got plenty of land to do whatever we want to do back there, including the backside of where the cross country track runs. There's a lot of open space out there. We need an athletic facility to help with that as well. So
absolutely. Do we need athletic fields?
Yeah, and listen, there's a letter floating around now about the conditions of our field. It's been sent to all the elected officials, and it's not. And I see it more now, I think, than I've ever seen it, because I have kids at the high school, which the girls' soccer team won last night, 1-0 against Belchertown for the quarterfinals.
Nice cheap pop.
And
they're at the high school now.
Sorry, I got a little shot there. Yeah,
cheap pop.
High school.
Well, the girls' volleyball team also won their quarter round. So,
and then we had Voc Tech, right? We had Westfield Technical, the boys. We had Kyle
Boys soccer,
right?
yeah.
Well.
Yep. So we're rolling right now with very not much in our facilities. I know I'll let Ralph talk about it, but we have our track people running in the hallways at Westfield High School. That's not safe. We've got to get better at that. So hopefully as we move forward, we'll find some funding, and we need to convince council members that education is important, and that yes, it is going to cost money to do these things, and no one wants to talk about that. But we have not, in my opinion, supported them enough, and I hope this next budget cycle coming up, and then in the next 4 or 5 years, we have a plan financially and a plan with bricks and mortars to make the facility top of the line.
We hear that. I'm running out of time, and I have about a minute, Ralph. Do we want to talk about the food drive?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Must.
Yeah. The annual food drive for the Westfield Public Schools will be held a week from Monday. I believe that's the 19th.
The 19th.
And last year we were able to provide Thanksgiving dinner to over 200 families. That was soup to nuts. That was turkeys. That was green beans. That was cream of mushroom soup. That was
cranberry sauce.
Cranberry sauce. That was it.
The real stuff or the canned stuff?
The canned stuff.
The canned stuff is the real stuff.
Yeah, I love it.
So
love it.
We're looking for
Jelly.
support from the general community again. People are great. They bring in turkeys. We need turkeys this year. We need personal hygiene products. We need canned goods. We need bags of stuffing. We need anything that you would think of. Cranberry sauce.
Mrs. Donnelly needs to go on a shopping trip again.
Yeah. So we need that. We will be at Tiger's Pride at the Technical Academy starting at 6 o'clock on Monday, going till 2 p.m. when we hope to have all the turkeys dinners sent out. We're also going to do something new this year. We're going to be there Friday night till about 6, from 2 to 6, to collect things. If people want to drop stuff off on Friday night, we have the availability and the wherewithal to store frozen turkeys. If you're bringing turkeys, please bring them frozen. Fresh turkeys are hard to store. Frozen are easier to take care of. So I want to thank the community in advance, because if anything, if it's like it was in the past, we're going to be able to do what we did last year. So,
and of course, we'll be broadcasting live on Monday, 6 a.m. start time. Kathy, will you be joining me for a special edition of Ken's Den that day?
You're going to have to give me a wake-up call, honey, or maybe I'll have to stay up all night.
We'll make sure Chef Mooch has the coffee ready to go.
Two mornings in a row, you're going to be seeing me at 6 a.m.
But we do have to say thank you to the Figgies for taking this on.
Absolutely.
Because It's a tremendous help to the city of Westfield, and we do appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the thank you. So
I want to thank my guests, Ralph Figge and Brent Bean, for coming in today. I want to thank my listeners and also viewers, Channel 15, if you're watching on the cable side. Next week, Dan Paquette. The following week, Chef John Slattery. We're going to be talking about pies and taking a quiz about pies because around Thanksgiving time, we always have pies. 3 weeks from now, making the list.
I know. The heat's on again.
All right.
I have one really quick thing before we go. Really quick thing, and Ralph brought it in and you brought it in. They brought in the Westfield News and the good things happening in Westfield. We are so fortunate that we have our own local newspaper where people can get the correct information.
Absolutely. Get out there and vote. I'll see you next week.
exactly.
There's always something about coming back home. City lights approaching over the bridge and into this town. Traffic's all but moving, and people tend to stay around. Familiar face with the same old crowd, where people still know your name. Who is who and who's to blame for silly pranks before high school games of hockey, football, baseball, still the same. Generations go on past and mornings go by way too fast. We don't need another time. We don't need another vision, because we're here and now in Westfield, Mass. Still moving forward, built to last. Held on values we hold true. Still raise high, red, white, and blue. We're proud this song to get the job done. Make some time for a little fun. Come see what we've done today. Westfield is here to stay. Park to Little River Road, so many opportunities arose. Manufacture whips and arms and gear. The supply chain of the world starts here. Heroes rise and called upon. Police and fire and National Guard. Community will rise above to protect and serve in our backyard. We don't need another time. We don't need another vision. We're here now in Westfield, Mass. Still moving forward, built to last. Held on values we hold true. Still raise high, red, white, and blue. We're proud and strong to get the job done. Make some time for a little fun. Come see what we've done today. Westfield is here to stay. Life of Dickens days, sprinkles holiday cheer among winter's rays. Streetlights glow with gaslight warmth to bring us back to charm. We hold tight to tradition here and celebrate 350 years of rebuilds, wars fought, and kids coming home from victories, losses, and parts unknown. They don't need another time. They don't need another vision. They're coming home to Westfield, Mass. Still moving forward, built to last. Held on values we hold true. Still raise high, red, white, and blue. They're proud and strong to get the job done, but make some time for a little fun. Come see what they've done today. Westfield is here to stay.